I'm going to sum up in just a few minutes what happened in the House of Commons this week. You won't believe what Justin Trudeau tried to get away with this week. Let's break it down. First of all, you might remember the SNC Lavalin affair. That's the one where Justin Trudeau tried to pressure his Attorney General to cut a sweetheart deal with a corporation charged with fraud. She bravely said no. Years later, the RCMP was trying to investigate. The top cop in the RCMP told Canadians that he couldn't proceed with the investigation because Justin Trudeau wouldn't release all the documents. He came to Parliament to explain why. Look what happened.
So we're here in the Standing Committee on Access to Information, Privacy and Ethics. We literally have the Commissioner for the RCMP in the room. We have a Staff Sergeant from the RCMP in the room. And we have these Liberals right there. The Liberal Vice Chair, Mona Fortier, just moved to adjourn the committee. These Liberals voted to shut it down. Mike Callaway, Parn Baines, hand him off, Iker Khalid, Mona Fortier. That's absolutely unacceptable. Look at them. They're very proud to cover up the corruption of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
They shut down a committee hearing into Justin Trudeau's blocking an investigation. This is meta cover-up. Number 2, do you remember the ArriveCAN app scandal? Remember that app? That's the thing you had to plug all your information into when you were coming across the border during the pandemic. That app should have cost a few $1,000s. Instead, the cost ballooned to $54 million. Sweetheart contracts to liberal-friendly firms. Contracts paid for no work done. Let's take a look at what happened at that committee.
What I think was your description of it, and get you to confirm that I have this right. You're describing a system in which government contracts go to preferred contractors. They claim to subcontract to others who they claim did the work, and they provide reports on this. But those subcontractors might not be doing the work. They might not know they're being named. They might not even exist in some cases. And then this system allows those initial contractors to overbill taxpayers and cash in big. Is that what's going on here?
Encourage the contractors to actually do this. That is correct.
Wow. To your knowledge, how widespread is this system?
Well, if you look into today's article that Globe and Mail wrote, only the 3 contractors that we're discussing, Bottler and ArriveCAN, they're the same contractors, $500 million in the past 10 years.
The Liberals paid millions of dollars in contracts to companies that didn't do any work. I had never even heard the term ghost contract before. But here's what it is. It's when a company wins a contract and then creates phony invoices for subcontractors for work that was never done. They pad up their costs so that the government pays them more and more.
Is the ArriveCAN app. The matter is also under criminal investigation. It was an app we didn't need, didn't work, and was about 500 times more expensive than it should have been. Will he agree, yes or no, to cooperate with the police in the ArriveCAN criminal investigation?
Once again, Mr. Speaker, when the Leader of the Opposition talks about dividing Canadians, he doesn't actually want to accept that over 80% of Canadians chose to get vaccinated during the pandemic, Mr. Speaker. And he continues to play divisive games. He continues to play divisive games to try and divide Canadians on a matter core to public health and public safety.
Has Justin Trudeau just crossed the line from normal Liberal corruption to cartoon supervillainy? I think it's safe to say yes.
Take that Boulderama, take that Convenient Smart, take that nuclear power plant. Do fiddlesticks.
Now, waste and corruption is bad enough when you think about how hard you work for your paycheck and all the taxes that Justin Trudeau collects off of it. But when all that extra spending adds to inflation as well, you pay a double whammy. And this week, the Bank of Canada governor finally came clean and admitted that Justin Trudeau's deficits are driving up inflation.
When we add up the spending plans in the budgets, if all those spending plans are realized, government spending will be adding to demand more than supply is growing. And in an environment where we're trying to moderate spending and get inflation down, that's not helpful.
If only someone might have warned them that all that extra spending without economic growth to go along with it would lead to higher prices.
New cash creation constituted $303 billion of the sources of revenue of this government. Now, the Prime Minister might like to see this go on into the future. The problem is that, like all taxes, it increases costs on Canadians. That inflation is taxation without legislation.
And after years of telling Canadians that inflation would be low and temporary, they've now admitted it's here to stay. Justin Trudeau's inflation crisis isn't going away anytime soon.
All this is making underlying inflation more persistent. The combined impact of all these factors is that we now expect inflation to be about 3.5% through to about the middle of next year.
Well, Canadians are going through a cost of living crisis, paying high prices for everything and their paychecks shrinking thanks to inflation and higher taxes. Justin Trudeau's finding new ways to impose his woke ideological agenda, overturning decades of history and tradition. The Trudeau Liberals have announced that chaplains are no longer allowed to say prayers at Remembrance Day ceremonies.
But now, under this Liberal government, our military chaplains are being told they can't even pray for the fallen. During World War II, chaplains led prayer on the boats on the eve of the D-Day landings. And chaplains have provided last rites to dying soldiers in the fields. But now, the Prime Minister is telling Canadians that on Remembrance Day, they can't even pray for those who fought for our country? What is going on, Mr. Speaker?
Conservatives are going to fight back against this ridiculous decision. And last, but certainly not least, unless you're counting how many projects it's completed, is the Canada Infrastructure Bank. This is the bank that Justin Trudeau started with $35 billion of your money that hasn't completed a single project and loses money every single year. Only a bank run by Justin Trudeau could lose money in Canada. The All-Party Infrastructure Committee recommended that the Government of Canada simply abolish this bank. Conservatives voted for this common sense recommendation. Liberals voted to keep wasting your money. Remember previous Liberal governments that might have one or two of these scandals every year? This was all in just 1 week. 1 week in Justin Trudeau's government. We saw more corruption, more scandals, higher taxes, and higher inflation. So the good news is, as we head into the weekend, is that the House of Commons won't be sitting. So Justin Trudeau will be limited as to what kind of damage he can do. But I hate to think about what's going to happen on Monday. Conservatives fought hard to uncover this corruption and fight for lower taxes and lower inflation. And we'll do the exact same thing week in, week out until you get a common sense government. And as always, thanks for watching.